Welcome back to the ZTV Sports Report. I'm Parker Smith.
And I'm Kara Riccardi.
We start off our show with a huge story which will be prevalent around the entire campus. While the University of Akron goes through a rebrand, adding the title Ohio's Polytechnic University, the University of Akron Athletics Department is going through a rebrand of their own. Our very own and my very own co-host, Kara Riccardi, sat down with a couple staff members to get their take on the changes.
I think right away, it's that differentiation from the other schools within Division I or the Football Bowl subdivision.
A zip is very distinctive to the University of Akron. UA's marketing department decided it was time for the zips to stand out.
Nobody else in the country has a Z logo, so this really sets us apart from everybody else, and it lets us be an individual brand and not get cluttered in that college landscape of the 30-some schools that have an A logo. The A Roohead logo and the Z logo have been a part of our brand and our mark since 2003 when we rebranded and went through that whole process. So it had been 12 years that we had been using the A Roohead logo with our brand. So that's anything that you see on the uniforms, anything that you could buy in the store that's officially licensed team gear.
We first brought the Z in 2 years ago as a helmet decal, just kind of switch things up and be a little different. And the overwhelming reaction we got from everybody, players, coaches, fans, was very positive. And I think that's what led to the change, was so many people liked it, so many people responded positively, and it just seemed like the right thing to do to stand out.
While the new Z logo will be prevalent for the University of Akron, past marks are still going to be utilized.
Some of the marks that you'll still see in our brand is the Fear the Roo, kangaroo, and everything. You can see that currently on the basketball arena floor coming out of the baseline, the head of the kangaroo with the ears sticking out. We think that's a pretty intimidating feature when you look at it.
Because this is a rather large change for the University of Akron, Van Horn is expecting it to take some time.
For things like the football stadium, we have the cost on that, and when we think we have the money in our budget or we go out and raise the money, we'll make that transition. So when we announced the brand change, we said it would happen over a 3 or 4 year period, not just instantaneously.
So it's really great for recruiting, not only student athletes, but just students to our university. The logo's updated, it's fresh, and it's going to attract young minds all over the state of Ohio and all over the country. At the end of the day, we're still Akron. We're just the Akron Zips, and that Z, anytime anyone looks at it, they're going to associate it with the Akron Zips because we're the only one out there. So it really is a good thing for us as an athletic department and as a university to have that one unique logo out there that separates us from anybody else.
And you know, Parker, something really interesting that Mr. Van Horn brought up was that this brand change is actually going to help the University of Akron's revenue, because we have so many alumni that are trying to keep up with the modernization. They're going to be wanting to purchase this new clothing with the new logo on it.
Well, I mean, I think it's a great idea. I love the new logo. I think it's more modern. I think it makes us stand out. And if it brings in more money, I'd call it a win-win.
Speaking of a win-win, the men's soccer team is off to a hot start, and my co-host Parker Smith got to talk with junior captain Adam Najam, a key element of their recent success. We have that story along with highlights from men's soccer's matches with St. Louis and in-state rival Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the season, we worked really hard in the spring, of course, especially coming up after that Ohio State game last year. We're pretty hungry to come back into the season, and we have those 9 guys that are experienced another year or 2 or 3, and I think last year we had a lot of new guys, and just them coming back and being more experienced really helped us out to know the tough games and how to play them and everything like that. Yeah, it was a really tough loss last season, but I mean, obviously it'll motivate us tomorrow, but we don't want it to end like that anymore, and I think that'll motivate us for the rest of the season to continue pushing hard. We really had a kind of underdog attitude. I think everyone overlooks Akron and thinks the history of the program overtakes what is presently going on here, and I think that we take that into consideration every time we step onto the field and try to prove ourselves that we are Akron and we're here to play. Yeah, I mean, I think Akron as a tradition has a goal of national championship or bust every single year, and I think that's what we're doing this year. we worked really hard in the spring, and throughout all our experiences from the spring to Brazil and come back here sharp, I think everyone was excited to start the season, and then we had a good win against VCU and then a little slip up against ODU, but I think we came out firing after that and just continued and hoping to continue the streak. I don't foresee anything really getting in our way. I think we just have to remain consistent. I think it's just the same mindset every day, just come out, work hard, and really dominate possession and get goals early and take it to them.
In his third season of taking it to the opponent for Akron, we wanted to know how Adam felt his game was progressing.
I think the strongest point of my game is picking out passes for my teammates, just getting involved, and I'm a player that really wants the ball every time, and I think my teammates do well to find me and they do well to get open, and I think I've been working on more of my passing and my finishing is getting a little better. So yeah, I mean, everything, I think I could overall improve my whole game, but I've been really focusing on my fitness levels, my defending aspects of the game, and I think everything else is just hopefully steadily improving as well. Yeah, I think it's just feeling out, and the process is obviously tough, and I think everyone at one point in their life thinks they're ready for the next level, and I think having the people around you letting you know what you need to work on and what you need to improve on is really crucial to that, and I thank my coaches for that because they've really helped me to improve my game and take it to the next level, and hopefully I'll continue improving, and hopefully the players that think they're ready for the next level don't just stop and stay stagnant. I think hopefully they continue and improve each and every day. Yeah, of course, all the recognition early is great, but I think the most important is just our team getting recognized, and I think that the more we play and the more we win, and I think people all over the country are going to realize that Akron's the best team in the country, and that's really all the recognition we need.
On Friday, September 11th, the number 22 ranked Akron Zips hosted the number 14 ranked St. Louis University. St. Louis took a swift lead in this one with a quick strike by Brown within the first 3 minutes of this match. But Akron would not make it easy for St. Louis as they put the pressure on them, used fancy footwork, and put a shot out on the goal that sailed just right at the goalpost. But St. Louis would find quick success yet again at 6:58 in the match with Jake Benlison blocking the initial shot, but St. Louis had the second chance opportunity and converted it. And still, Akron never gave up in this one, continually using good footwork, ball passing, and then finally, in the 39th minute of the match, Sam Gainford lifted one over the goalkeeper's head to cut the lead to St. Louis 2, Akron Zips 1. And the reason for St. Louis' lead in this first half was their continued defense, which rolled over into the second half of the match, where they denied Akron on several attempts in the outside the box. But at just over 7 minutes into the second half, St. Louis was called on a foul inside the box, which gave Akron a free kick. And with that free kick, Najam was able to deliver an accurate strike that gave him not only his second goal of the season, but the equalizer in this match. And despite the strong defense St. Louis kept putting on Akron, Sam Gainford was able to score his second goal of the match at 70 minutes and 27 seconds to help lead his Zips to a 3-2 victory over the number 14 ranked St. Louis University. And this match's top performers were Sam Gainford, who scored 2 goals, and Adam Najam, who had 1 goal and 6 shots on goal. And for St. Louis, both Phillip and Anthony scored a goal apiece. On Wednesday, September 16th, the number 11 team in the nation, Akron Zips, hosted the Ohio State University Buckeyes. The Zips senior, Sean Sepe, opened this game up early in the 8th minute of the match, chesting a ball past the Buckeyes goalkeeper to put the Zips up 1-0. OSU had a chance not long after from a corner kick, but Akron's defenders was able to kick the ball away from their own goal. Ohio State was able to keep in this first half by showing flashy defense of their own, denying Akron several times inside the box. The match would eventually go into the half with Akron up 1-0, but then finally at the 48:09 mark in the game, Ohio State's Danny Jensen netted an equalizer right around Jake Benlison. Soon after that goal, Akron had a chance to retake the lead, but this header from a corner kick sailed just over the crossbar. Then, in the 56th minute of the match, Ohio State would jump ahead of Akron with a strike that sailed into the corner of the goal. For a minute, Ohio State's defense looked like it would hold, but at the 64th minute of the match, Tyler Sanders scored his first career goal with a sliding shot in front of the box to tie it back up at 2:50. Ohio State would turn around yet again to score another goal in the 70th minute of the match with a good footwork and accurate pass into the inside of the box. But this game was far from over, and in the 77th minute of the match, Najim hit a header into the goal that was the equalizer for his match. And both the Akron fans and players are loving this. This game was back and forth the entire match, which eventually led it to double overtime, with both goalkeepers showing phenomenal defenses to stop goals from scoring. The energy in this game was high on both sides, all the way into the final whistle of the game. And you see in the last 9 seconds, this corner kick from Akron sails into the middle of the box, but unfortunately was knocked away as the game ends in a 3-3 tie in double overtime. And the key players for Akron in this game was Adam Najim, who had 1 goal and 1 assist, and Sam Gainford, who had 3 assists. For Ohio State, Kyle Culbertson had 1 goal and 1 assist, and Abdi Muhammad had 1 goal.
It was really great to talk to Adam. He is just pleasant and a down-to-earth guy.
He's definitely one of my favorite players to watch.
Coming up, we talk to an Akron football star who has found his comfort zone here in Akron, despite his roots in Florida.
And we have more highlights from various fall sports. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the ZTV Sports Report, your home for everything Akron Zips athletics.
We now move from the football pitch to the football field, where Khalil Smith talked to senior All-MAC linebacker Jatavis Brown.
We also have highlights from the Zips matchups with Pitt and Savannah State.
In 2014, the Zips defense ranked high in the MAC in several defensive categories. First in total defense, third in scoring defense, third in pass defense, and fourth in rush defense. They look to maintain that success in 2015.
I say we have to keep building chemistry, keep playing for one another, keep, not being selfish, to stay unselfish, and just keep fighting for one another.
Fourth-year defensive coordinator Chuck Amato has played a vital role in rebuilding the Zips football program, as well as revamping the defense. Jatavis discusses how Amato has turned around the defense, making them one of the best in the MAC.
He puts everybody in a good position. He's a good coach to adjust. He's willing to compromise with some things, and he's intense, and he loves the game of football.
After a 4-2 start last season, including a convincing win at Pittsburgh, the Zips lost all their momentum, losing 4 consecutive games in conference play. The Zips will have to make some changes to meet this year's high expectations.
We got to prevent injuries. We got to stay more healthy. I can't say prevent injuries, but we got to stay more healthy and keep guys into it and in shape and all that, and to continue to play for one another and build more chemistry.
Although the Zips defense hasn't held opponents out the end zone thus far, the offense hasn't had much success either, scoring only a combined 10 points in 2 games. Jatavis talks about how he keeps his defense focused when the offense struggles.
Keep their head up, tell everybody to keep their head up and try to encourage the offense to get it going. Eventually they'll get it going.
Many don't know much about Jatavis Brown's background, being Florida born and raised, and hailing from Florida high school powerhouse Glade Central. Jatavis describes his adjustment to Akron and his new role as team leader.
I said it's easy. I love the game. When I first got here, I was a little quiet, but I got close to these guys. I'm more vocal. I'm bored. I'm chilling with everybody. So I said they took me in. I took them in. It's just been an easy thing for me.
Hopes were high as the Zips took the field last Saturday to take on the Pitt Panthers and looking for their first victory of the season. A steady rain that had been falling all day would not dampen that. Early on, the rain did not seem to affect the Pitt offense as they moved the ball up and down the field because of the legs of Quadre Ollison and the scrambling ability of quarterback Chad Wojtek. Eventually, once the Panthers moved into the red zone, the D stepped up to make the plays necessary to stop Pitt from moving forward. Here, Jatavis Brown rushes in to sack Wojtek, but was unable to recover the fumble. A great effort on the part of Brown and a host of others on defense helped keep Pitt out of the end zone. Instead, Pitt settled for a single field goal in 2 attempts and a 3-0 lead. Meanwhile, the Akron offense struggled with Trayvon Chapman at the helm. Coach Bowden needed to make a decision. In the second quarter, Kyle Pohl came in and completed this pass to Imani Davis on his first play from scrimmage to get the Zips moving. Later in the drive, his passing helped open up the middle of the field, and the offensive line opened up a hole, and Connor Hundley was able to ramble 32 yards for the first Akron touchdown of the year and give the Zips a lead by the score of 7-3. The celebration is short-lived, though. After that, the offense begins to struggle again. The visitors made a quarterback change of their own, with Nate Peterman taking over for Wojtek. And it paid dividends right away, with Peterman showing his scrambling ability here, and then his arm as he found J.P. Holtz across the middle for the touchdown and a 10-7 halftime lead. This Allison touchdown in the third quarter made the score 17-7 and put the Zips behind the 8 ball for the rest of the game. Chapman re-entered the game after an injury to Kyle, and the offense continued to have its problems moving the ball and finished the game with only 110 yards of total offense. The end result was a 24-7 Pitt win to drop the Zips to 0-2 on the young season.
The Akron Zips took on the Savannah State Tigers on Saturday, who have lost 22 straight games heading into this one. First drive for the Zips, and Trayvon Chapman's pass is completed to Anthony Young, who gets a nice gain after the catch, but maybe a little bit premature cannon celebration, and maybe that tripped him up. But here, goal line situation, Tommy Woodson in, hands it off to defensive lineman / fullback Cody Grice, and he barrels in for the touchdown. 7-0 Zips early, looking like it's going to be a rout, but then Savannah State comes back. Here's the Chapman's pass is tipped and intercepted by Savannah State, but Akron's defense steps up and holds Savannah State to just a field goal. So late in the first quarter, it's 7-3 Akron. Connor Hundley was an absolute beast today, ran for over 100 yards again. He would just not go down on the first touch, and proven that there, fights for more yards. Then Tommy Woodson rolling out in the goal line formation, and it's intercepted, but don't worry, Tommy Woodson would absolutely make up for it later. Here things get really bad for the Zips as Robert Stein's kick is blocked and is returned all the way to the house by Savannah State, and the Boo Birds were out for Akron as Savannah State would then be leading 9-7 after a kind of weird 2-point conversion attempt failed. But Tommy Woodson would then come in the game as the main quarterback, and he really made a difference. For example, he had 11 rushes for 67 yards, and Woodson lost around 30 pounds this offseason, so good for Tommy. And here, nice run after the catch, and then Connor Hundley outstretched, and he kept his balance, might have been touchdown. But here, Cody Grice takes the direct snap, barrels into the end zone again, and flips. And so now it's 14-9 Akron, and then for the half, Cody Grice takes the direct snap again and fights his way into the end zone, 21-9 Akron, and then good clock management by the Zips allows them to get another possession, and very late in the second quarter, Imani Davis catches a huge touchdown pass from Tommy Woodson, making it 28-9 at the half, and second half, Zips would absolutely dominate. Robert Stein would add in a field goal, making up for that block. Terry Bowens after the game doesn't really know what happened there, but makes up for it there, and then Connor Hundley, boom! You can hear the impact there as he gets into the scoring column. Then Tommy Woodson makes it 45-9 with that little sneak there. One throwing touchdown, one rushing touchdown, and one interception for Woodson on the day. Then 45-9, Chapman in, tosses it to the converted linebacker Jerome Lane, and he right analog sticks him for the score, making it 52-9, which would end up being the final score for the game. Here's Terry Bowden on his team's performance.
Like I told the team, savor a 52-9 victory, savor it. Savor it, enjoy it. Winning cures all ills, at least for the day. It's 52-9 is good any way you look at it. And the great thing was we have so many things that we saw we can do better. We can execute better.
The season didn't start off the way they wanted, but it's good to see them gain some footing with the Savannah State win.
Hopefully they can carry that momentum the rest of the way. Now it's time for a break, but we'll be back shortly with highlights from women's soccer's matchup against Pitt and volleyball's Akron Invitational. See you soon.
You're watching ZTV.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to close out our show with the women's soccer game against Pitt and
volleyball's final match of the Akron Invitational, where they would try to clinch the title.
The Zips faced Pittsburgh this weekend and fought valiantly. The Zips showed determination throughout the entire match and fought their hearts out, but Pittsburgh came to play. The overall game was a physical one, Akron only having 3 shot attempts compared to Pittsburgh's 9. One key player who stood out for Akron Zips was goalkeeper Annabelle Hagman, who had 9 goal saves against Pittsburgh. This chick could stop 5 armed bank robbers without even lifting a finger. I mean, she could cover the entire length of the goal with half her body. But Pittsburgh managed to get a goal by her late in the first half. The first one came from a nice header and a nice cross. The women's soccer team is showing a valiant effort on offense and defense. Defensively, the ball was on the opposite side of the field for majority of the game. The Akron Zips were outnumbered on their shot attempts, corner kicks, but made up for it in saves. Thankful to their MVP, Annabelle Hangman. The physicality in the game definitely stepped up in the second half. Akron Zips receiving 2 yellow cards, showing off their frustration from the game. The Zips also showed a mighty effort but suffered a great defeat to Pittsburgh, 0-3. But I do wish them luck as they go on the road again for next weekend.
Final game of the Akron Invitational Volleyball Tournament, the Zips would take on Canisius. Battle cry, touch gloves, and the Zips were ready to go. Early in the first set, the Zips Student Athlete of the Week, Kelsey Wilson, was not having any of that as she returns to sender, giving the Zips an early 3-1 lead. Later in the set, the Zips put on a clinic bump, set, spike in all caps. Big hits are nice, but up 17-14, the Zips' Jessica Klein shows that finesse and placement can also be effective. All the hard work that the Zips did in the first half was spoiled, as Canisius would rally back to take the first set 25-23. Early in the second, with the Zips already out to an 8-6 lead, a long rally would ensue between these two teams. Back and forth, these teams would go. Take it, I don't want it, seriously, take it, no. Until finally, the Zips' Amanda Bodell wins the point with the left. After that point, the Zips would go on a roll. 10-6, 11-6, 12-6, and how about a baker's dozen? 13-6. They would ride this momentum to take the second set. Zips down 1 early in the third when Julius Maggots ties it up with a deadly spike. Maybe the point of the night here as Brenna Mack dives to the floor, and it would later set up the Kelsey Wilson spike. Set point for the Zips cannot be handled by Canisius, and the Zips would go on to win the set and the match 3-1.
A big congratulations to the volleyball team on their championship.
Hopefully, it's the first of many for Akron sports this season.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but be sure to tune in next time on the ZTV Sports Report.
Your home for everything Akron Zips athletics.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.